All right, Shalom, giving all praises and glory to our power, Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rachak, Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. Wherever you may be, to you I say Shalom, Yasharallah, Shalom. Let me bring this up real quick. So we're going to roll over to my little video files here. All right, should be a short lesson. I say that now, but because I don't really have any scriptures, it's going to be based off of something I saw yesterday. So what you have is Esau Edom. He silently come back to attack the chariot thing here. And I don't know why, because I like this dude here, Dabu 7, right? Um, I don't actually ever go to his page. I barely ever think about him. Every now and then, the spirit just moves me over there and to go and look, see what's because sometimes guys like that. So for some random reason, they seem to pick up on a lot of different information, things that are going on in the world. So every once in a blue moon, I find myself over there, and so it's very interesting because this hasn't been heard of. All right, so I went over there and I saw this video here, and let me crank up my volume real quick, so that way it look good when I grab the video, and make sure my Bluetooth is off. All right, so yeah, so what you have here is Esau once again doing what Esau does best, lying and attempting to control the narrative. And of course, there'll be no enchantments against Jacob, but the regular people like this guy, Dabu, and whoever else, may believe it, they'll fall into the snare. All right, but this is Esau controlling the narrative. So let me grab this video here. We'll play that for you.
Hey, this is Dabu 7. We've got what some are saying is a bone-chilling document that has been declassified by the CIA. And in this, it exposes what they're calling a massacre of humans by another life force. You can call it aliens, you can call it the Fallen, but they're saying an entire military unit was turned to stone in this. Now, these were Soviet troops, according to these reports, and it is said that they shot down a flying saucer hovering over the Soviet military unit in Siberia. This was 35 years ago. They say what happened next was truly terrifying. In the document summarizing a 250-page top-secret file that was acquired by U.S. intelligence agents, eyewitnesses said that 5 aliens, or beings, came out of the craft after it was wrecked. They combined themselves into one and exploded into a burst of energy that turned 23 soldiers into solid rock.
Oh, let me play it back for you one more time now.
Combined themselves into one. Intelligence agents, the eyewitnesses said that 5 aliens, or beings, came out of the craft after it was wrecked. They combined themselves into one and exploded into a burst of energy that turned 23 soldiers.
Now, it sounds so believable. Yeah, multiple beings came out of this craft. All right, they combined themselves into one. They burst in this energy. Well, the first thing that you hear that is off immediately is when they say they shot it down. Oh, they shot it down. It crashed. Come on, man. These are the chariots of the Most High Power, man. They're not going to crash, nor can you shoot them down. And so now, hey, as far as the, I'm not saying this happened, I'm just giving a quick, example. Like as far as the beings combining themselves and giving out a burst of energy, that sounds like something out of this world. But hey, who says the angels are not capable of that? But going into this, we know this is just a phony file. Like, come on, man. 35-year-old file, and this is the random one you decided to release when you supposedly have many other ones. Okay, so once again, this is Esau trying to control that narrative. He's going attacking the chariots all over again, claiming that he's released some, kind of revelation of, aliens, right? As you see on the screen. Okay, well, he probably put that, Dabu 7 probably put that up there, but this is what they're driving people towards because they know the time is near. All right, Jacob's trouble, the Micro C hip, World War III, and they know that the angels are also going to pop up, man, because they know the scriptures, like we know the scriptures, certain things that are in there. They're not as prophetic as us, but, you get my point. Esau knows those scriptures as well. Okay, how else do you think he knows how to search things out about, concerning the Israelites? There'll be no more sun, and search out this, search out that, but they won't be my people anymore for their sins and all these things. Esau knows these things, okay? And so, You know, he knows about the chariots. He knows about Yahushua coming from, out there, which he's coming from the heavenly realm, but he's gonna, pop up here in this realm. But you get my point, though. All right, so yeah, Esau is he's gonna keep manipulating people to believing that they're aliens because people want so badly to believe because so many years people are understanding that hey, these things exist. So Esau, what he's done for all these years is control that narrative for all these years by saying that these are aliens. Well, at one point he was just silent, and then here it is, alien this, alien that. All right, oh, this one crashed here. No, the angels don't crash. All right, Roswell crashed, this crash, that crash. The angels don't crash, man. Okay, and you cannot shoot them down. And so he's putting out these false reports, and people think they're true because it has CIA stamped on it. All right, men of the Lord can stand on the streets, you know, for 10 days out of 1 week, right? It's just going to show you how crazy it sounds, right? And people won't believe what they say, but as long as you stamp CIA on it, okay, oh, finally released files, right? The people will believe it. Like, I knew this was, and they hid it from us and and just swear that they're telling the truth and they're being manipulated. They're walking right into the blind track, right? Which is to fool you on what this is really about. But let's play some more of this video.
Into solid rock. That's pretty crazy. Call it what you want.
And he said that, well, I think it says 23 soldiers got turned into solid rock. That sounds like some mythology Medusa stuff, where she had the snake hair or whatever. When you look at her, you turn into stone. That's what that sounds like. All right. And we know what the angels use. They got those direct energy beams, man. So why would they need to come out of their craft to turn you into stone after some energy burst? Oh, I forgot. That's right. Because they got shot down and their shuttles crashed, man. You see how far-fetched and ridiculous, this sounds. But when you're coming from Esau, right? The forger of lies, as the scriptures say. When you're coming from Esau, hey, if you're not tuned in with the Lord, it'll sound believable, right? Let's play some more.
But this is the report, an official CIA document.
See?
Referring to this whole thing as a shocking battle and basically revenge from these beings. So we're seeing some pretty crazy stories get kicked out. Some people like to always say, oh, it's a distraction to this. Well, everything is a distraction to something else at this point.
Well, there you go. You see? But do you hear his non-belief? It's a distraction. But no, according to him, because, hey, he's bugged out, all right? This just can't be untrue, all right? They've hidden this thing for years. Now it's out, all right? So he doesn't see it as what this is just that. It's a distraction, man. Esau doing what Esau does best, which is push out lies, and it's all a distraction, man, okay? This is him trying to control the narrative. For whatever reason, he's coming to attack the chariots again, but hey, we'll see if this is a singled out incident or is he gonna continue, shooting his little shots, about this type of situation. Let's see.
On. And the truth is getting dropped out there little by little. I feel there's soft disclosure on here.
Not sure if y'all can hear because I'm down by the river, but there's a highway or a bridge anyways, so it's probably all that traffic that you hear. I'm gonna run that back for you.
Going around,
what's
going on? It kicked out. Some people like to always say, oh, it's a distraction to this. Well, everything is a distraction to something else at this point. There's so much going on. And the truth is getting dropped out there little by little. I feel there's soft disclosure.
You see? He's getting fooled. He said that the truth is getting dropped out there little by little, all right? But it ain't, though. It ain't the truth, man, okay? It ain't the truth, all right? Esau gonna lie to you, okay? No matter what, Esau gonna lie to you because he ain't about telling you the truth. He's about manipulating you, lying to you, controlling the narrative, and ultimately trying to achieve his goal of, ruling the earth, all the people of the earth, okay? And weeding out, the remnants, okay? Which you can't do because the scripture's not written that way, which you get my point, man. So he's being deceived, okay? Which we don't expect W to get it, right? We've never heard him come and talk about the Bible, okay? So he's just one of the many who's being deceived.
Ongoing around the world right now, and this could very well be a part of it. But these are the fallen, and to me, as it's written, they've always been here. They're not coming from far away.
See? bugged out, man. The fallen, all right? Which the fallen goes back to what? The false story, with the narrative that Satan, I guess he ate too many donuts, all right? He ate the last chocolate chip cookie. The Lord got mad, kicked him out of heaven. Okay, he landed in Antarctica, got chained, got bound. He took angels with him and all that nonsense, right? And so these are the fallen, all right? But the scriptures speak about the angels that kept not their first estate. That's referring to the Israelite men, all right? The giants that was in the earth in those days, in Genesis chapter 6, I believe it's like around verse 4 somewhere, okay? Those were talking about Israelite men, okay? When you're dealing with the angels, all right, none of that refers to the actual, the heavenly being angels, all right? Our brothers of the heavenly realm, okay? They have not always been here. They're not chained up under the ice. They're not sitting up, deep down in some volcano so we can't go there because there's lava, all right? They're not sitting down at the bottom of the, I don't know, the Grand Canyon, okay? Hidden under the waterfall at Niagara Falls somewhere. It's all nonsense, man, all right? The angels come from the heavenly realm, man. They go to and fro in the earth, all right, doing the Lord's bidding, all right?
They're here at this point, and they're in.
Now, in a sense, the one thing he said is true. In the way he used it, he's going off because he's talking about, falling, whatever, this, that. But now when he says they're here already, oh, that's absolutely true. The angels are definitely here already, okay, but we can't see them, all right? As a matter of fact, I might get that one. 2 Kings 6. We'll get that one because I don't really have any scriptures. We're just going to pull, all right? We're going to let the spirit roll after we get through this video, and we'll see, how long this lesson goes, all right? But I just want to play this video first.
Interacting with them, and we know this. And there's
Hold up. He said,
all kinds have been here. They're not coming from far away. They're here at this point, and they're interacting with them, and we know.
You see? He says they're here already, which in the sense that he's speaking, he's going off. But as far as the angels, absolutely yes. And then he says they're not from afar off. No, you're wrong, all right? They are from afar off. They're from a place that we cannot even enter into, all right? That's the world between the worlds, which is the spiritual realm, okay? They're coming from there, in and out of there, in and out of that realm to this realm, you see? And then he says they're interacting with them. Stop the cap, all right? Now, we sometimes interact with them, but we don't really know, all right? Brothers have the assumption like, man, there had to be an angel right there, all right? But, hey, that's why the scriptures tell you to about entertaining strangers, right? Because you might have, dealt with an angel unaware, okay? So, and of course, like I said before, of course he's going to be off because his idea of things is from this carnal world, all right? What he's been told, what he thinks is true, but he thinks it's been hidden, and all this nonsense there, all right? But we understand the scriptures through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem El-Shah, right? We understand what we're dealing with. Well, actually, and that's not and I'm saying that like, I know it kind of sounds like against us, but the angels aren't against us. They're for us. And if you're against the Lord, then most definitely the angels are against you because they're gonna come and do things as well. All right, to the 2/3 of the Lord's people. Okay.
This, and there's all kinds of different species, as far as I can tell.
There you go. All kinds of different species. That goes way back. All right. Esau has gone so far with the lies that he created books of alien species. Man, this is not a lie. You can look it up for yourself, man. Created books of, and it's all fake, man, but it's all to what? Fabricate the lie that these things exist, and to give it basically gives them more sting power in making you right, manipulating your thoughts and making you think that this exists, they existed, but they've been hiding it from us. All right, so that's all it does, and that's Esau's clever, man. You gotta give it to him, but that's what the Lord created him for, to be a liar, to lie, to manipulate, and do this and do that. All right, so you get it.
We're just lied to in mass, as always. But you can call them demons, you can call them the fallen, aliens, whatever floats your boat there. Another life form here involved in this situation.
Let me go back.
There's all kinds of different species, as far as I can tell. We're just lied to in mass, as always. But you can call them demons, you can call them the fallen, aliens, whatever floats your boat there. Another
okay,
life.
That's what I thought. He said everything else except for what? The main thing, which is angels, right? Okay, which demons are also the angels. They're just on the left-hand side. But he said everything else except for the word angels. It goes to show you how these people, they don't have the truth. They don't understand the truth, and they never will accept the truth. But it's okay. If you're not an Israelite, it's not for you anyways. because even the 2/3 are not going to get it. So, you get it.
For here involved in this situation, and pretty crazy here. I'll leave a link here so you guys can read up on more details, and I'll break it down further on the next live stream. Make sure to join me there. This has been Dabo7. Much love, y'all.
It's been Dabo7, and he's going off as usual. All right, he needs to stick to those, political issues and things of that nature. Not saying he's always correct on those things, but he can be very informative on certain things that are transpiring. But when it comes to these scriptures, as the apostles, the elders always say, all right, Esau is never going to get it right. And then there can be things that Esau knows, but he's still not going to tell you the truth. He's going to lie about them, all right? So Esau's not the one to refer to when it comes to prophecies in the scriptures, all right? But as far as history and things like that, sometimes they can hit the bullseye. Majority of times they hit the bullseye. Sometimes they miss even on that. But when it comes to prophecies and breakdowns and things of that nature, that's not Esau's realm, okay? So let's go over here. Grab a book. Let's grab a book. All right. Oh yeah, I said that Kings. Let me get that before. As a matter of fact, no. Let me get this first, because the Kings is on my mind. All right, I'll get this before. I forget that one. See, I'm already forgetting. What is it? 68. Let me move my button some anyway. All right, Psalm 68. And here we go. 17. It says the chariots. All right, the chariots are talking about these so-called spaceships. UFOs, UAPs, UAVs, call them what you will. The Bible calls them chariots. All right. I believe that word in the Hebrew is marakab. All right, with the root word being rakab, which means to mount or to ride upon, because these are flying vehicles. All right. So the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of who? It didn't say demons, all right, which, demons can use chariots too, all right? And it didn't say alien beings like Dabu had on the screen, right? It didn't say fallens or whatever. No, it says angels, all right? Because this is talking about the army of the Lord. Thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place, which I believe that goes back to, let me see. That was Deuteronomy, if I'm correct. I guess I get that. 33. Yep. Deuteronomy 33:2. And he said, the Lord Yahweh came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the angels, man. All right. So why is it calling the angels saints? Because they are our brothers of the heavenly realm, right? Not women of the heavenly realm, okay? Not androgynous beings of the heavenly realm, all right? Men, all right? Male figures of the heavenly realm, our brothers of the heavenly realm, okay? And we know that because the scriptures tell us that the fine linen, white and clean. I know I hang on that a lot, but, there's a very important understanding hidden behind that, all right? Behind that surface. But, fine linen, white and clean is the righteousness of saints. And we know that we are the saints because it tells us that in Psalms 140-14. But it also calls here the angel saints. Okay, and when you go to Revelation, like I guess chapter 19, right, or any different portion. Actually, there's a couple portions where John the Revelator, was dealing with the angel, and he says, don't worship me, because the angels will tell you not to worship him, right? Don't worship me. Have the fellow testimony or something like that. I'm your brother of the, pretty much I'm your brother of the heavenly realm. All right, so they're also saints. But the point I was going to drive home is that a perfect example, Acts chapter 1. All right. When Yahushua left on a chariot before his disciples, 2 men came to them in white linen, and those 2 men were angels. The fine linen, white and clean, is the righteousness of saints. The angels are already in a pure, fashion, pure form in the celestial bodies, which is why they have the white garments. All right. Sometimes when they appear, and we have to overcome this world to receive the white garments. So you see how they both link, both saints. All right, both garments are meant for both individuals, all right, because we are one and the same in a sense, okay? They're just our brothers of the heavenly realm, and we're in the terrestrial bodies. Continuing on, and it tells you right here in the next verse, because this verse 2 talks about the angels, and verse 3 speaks about us. It says, the Lord came with 10,000 of saints from his right hand when a fiery law for them. It says, yeah, he loved the people, all his saints. What now it's talking about the people. What people? It's talking about us here on the earth. See, the people all his saints are in thy hand. Psalms 148:14. All right, the saints are the children of Israel. It says, and they sat down at thy feet. Everyone shall receive with thy words. So there you go. All right. Let me get yeah, 2 Kings 6. Oh, another one just popped up. Let me get that one next. I have to type it up though. I don't know where it is, but I remember it. Let me get this first. Let me see if I can find the account here. If I'm correct, that was 2 Kings 6. Let me see. Bear with me. Um, is it not 2 Kings 6, or is it first? Oh, I didn't click over. There you go. Yep. Right. 2 Kings 6. So, as a matter of fact, let's read a little bit into it. So, 2 Kings 6 and 8. So it says, then the king of Syria warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, in such and such a place shall be my camp. And the man of the Most High sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware that thou pass not such a place, for thither the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of the Most High told him, and warned him of, and saved himself there not once nor twice. Not once nor twice. He says, therefore, the heart of the king of Syria was sore trouble for this thing. And he called his servants and said unto them, will you not shew me which of us is for the king of Israel? One of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel, telleth the king of Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And the servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Right? So Esau can lie, he can manipulate, all right, he can he can trick these people out here, including 2/3 of the Israelites, but he will not trick the elect. All right, we understand that when these angels show up, all right, they're going to do business on the Lord's behalf, and also that's going to be, part of that business is going to be assisting the whole free elect remnant, all right, men, women, children, all right, during the time of Jacob's trouble, all right, giving them direction and so on and so forth, other things, all right. So we says, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. It says, and Elisha prayed and said, Yahweh, I pray thee, open his eyes. It says that he may see. And Yahweh opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and what chariots? The chariots of the Most High, 20,000. And the churches will read this and say, see, it was a bunch of men on a mountaintop, in a chariot, on fire, a horse that was on fire or whatever, right? Some mythological nonsense, right? That ain't what it's talking about. Okay, it says, behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. So it's basically talking about above the mountain, all right, is, or chariots, all right, angels in the chariots, all right. So it says chariots of fire round about Elisha, because what's that, Ezekiel 1, maybe like 4. We'll get that next, okay, because I have another one in mind. I want to punch up and see where it is. Yeah. So it says, and when they came down to him, Elisha prayed unto Yahweh and said, smite this people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. All right. Hey, it didn't say that in Zechariah. All right. It says they're going to smite the people with blindness and madness or something like that. See? See, half the people on this planet don't even know what's coming. Okay. What the Lord is bringing on this earth. As a matter of fact, I got to get that. Let me see. I believe it's Zechariah 12, if I'm correct. And what was the other one I mentioned? Ezekiel 1. Let's see here. We're just gonna roll with it. Roll with me. We're gonna fly in the chair today. No, I'm just messing. Let's see. Let me see. Yep, here we go. All right. Zechariah 12:3. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. That's talking about us, all right? Now there's a landmass that the Lord is going to come up against, all right? That's because you got heathens fighting, over our land, and then you're going to have more heathens gathered together in all of our land to do battle, right? Because think about it, where World War III is going to mainly happen at is on the territory that belongs to us, okay? You don't think the Lord's pissed off about that? I mean, he's of course orchestrating that, all right. But the scriptures tell you that the eyes of the Lord are always upon that area. What's that? Deuteronomy 11:12, right? So the Lord's eyes are always upon that area. So when you think about where World War III is going to happen, the Third World is going to go down. It's on the territory that belongs to us, right in the Lord's land. See? So it says, let all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness, and I will open mine eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. Right? So there you go, man. All right. Getting busy, in battle. Yahweh Shai is eventually gonna pop up. But before then we may actually see chariots, doing things, because Yahweh Shai is not gonna pop up until the missiles fly. Okay, excuse me. Okay, but before then, you know, people are probably going to see angels. People are going to bug out. They're going to have heart attacks. From Jacob's trouble, going to have heart attacks from seeing the angels, from seeing invisible beings, hearing footsteps, somebody running up behind you, turn around, ain't nobody there. Ooh wee. Okay, hey, the Lord's going to do a number on this planet, especially Babylon, because this is that great place of wickedness, all right, confusion. So Ezekiel 1:4, it says, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. Same thing. It's talking about the chariots, man. A great cloud. All right. And some of these instances, when you go into the word cloud, it'll take you back to Exodus, where it says the cloud that led the Israelites in the wilderness. All right. So how about that? Okay. So no, we're not talking about some cloud in the sky, but that's what the churches tell you. It says, and a fire enfolding itself. What did Elisha see? And pray to the Lord that his servants see? Chariots of fire. See? So it says, enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, not green things with big black eyes, or little gray things with slim bodies, all right, looking like starving Marvin. Okay, so it says, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. It says, so they look like men, like the one that came up in Cali, right? So it says, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a cow's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. See? So, talking about these beings crashed. They came out, they joined together in one being, they let out a burst of energy. Okay. All right. Now I'm not saying that the angels can't do something like that, but they don't have to go that far to do that. You know why? Because they're not going to crash, and you can't shoot them down. Okay. So all that's nonsense, man. It's just some CIA paperwork, all right, to constantly create confusion and control the narrative, from these different situations here. All right, that's someone like him is not going to understand. They think that we're crazy for saying that, but really you're the crazy one for believing Esau. All right. Let me see here. What was the other one? Oh yeah. I'm gonna get this one. Okay, and probably you know call it from there. Here's right there. What I'm looking for. So, is it both in Chronicles? Is that the same thing in Chronicles? Just the mulberry trees. Let me see what this one says. Yeah, that's what I wanted right there. And it was also in Chronicles? Was that in Chronicles? Let me see. I'm gonna check it out. So, 2 Samuel 5:23 says, and when David inquired of the Lord Yahweh, he said, thou shalt not go up, but fetch a compass behind them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. Let's see what the mulberry trees look like. We can. Let me see. Pull it up. I have to pull the scripture up. Okay. Let's web search that real quick. Mulberry. It's almost like the blackberries right there. Mulberry tree. Let's go like this. Or is that? So huge, pretty huge trees. Very beautiful tree. You see, that can be pretty huge though, right? Look how they look. Okay, so just imagine if a cherry was over this type of tree, you see how it looks. You can just see those leaves and branches swinging. All right, hold on, let's go back, man. If you very visual, you know what I'm talking about. All right, let me jump back over here. So it says, fetch a compass behind them and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. All right. And it says, and let it be when thou hearest the sound of a going in the tops of the mulberry trees. So what are we talking about? Ninjas? Crouching tiger, hidden dragon? All right. People fighting with destiny swords? Absolutely not. Okay. We're talking about the chariots, man, that we read are the Most High. All right. It says, are 20,000. All right. Even thousands of angels. And let it be when thou hearest the sound of a going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt bestir thyself, for then shall the Lord Yahweh go out before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. Now we know this is not talking about the Lord Himself. So how's He gonna send this battle forth? It's by these angels, man, which are those chariots that David was hearing and probably seeing. All right, over atop the mulberry trees. You see, he went towards it. He was commanded to go towards those mulberry trees, and it says when you hear the sound of them going up top, that's the chariots. All right, now do your thing. Do your stuff, right? So let me go back over here. Let me see if I go back to the big page. Here it is. See if that was the same thing there. Chronicles. I believe it was. As a matter of fact, that's 14 and 15 right there. Yeah, you see? First Chronicles 14 and 13. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. Therefore David inquired again of the Most High, and God the highest said unto him, go not up after them, turn away from them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. You see? And I like how it's worded here in Chronicles, because it really sounds more military like, all right? Like, hey, don't do this, all right? We're going to utilize this tactic, all right? So it says, and it shall be, all right? So, yeah, don't go over there against them. Instead, go over here by these mulberry trees. Then it says, and it shall be, when thou shalt hear a sound of going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle, for the Most High is gone forth before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. All right, so that's the chariots, man, fighting for the Lord, okay, and fighting for us down here. At the time, this was King David and others with him. You see, and we're gonna have the same thing in these times. Ain't gonna be no aliens, all right, driving some space vehicles, being able to be shot down, all right, reverse engineered, all that nonsense that Esau lies to you and tell you, angels that came out of heaven, all right, with Satan and chained up and all nonsense, man, all right, mythology, okay? It's all made up, all right? But we know what the truth of the matter is, all right? And when these things go down, the people of this earth are gonna bug out, all right? Especially America. We can't wait to see it, all right? Because the Lord will, we have that hedge of protection, all right? The scriptures talk about how we're gonna laugh at them when their calamity comes, all right? When their fear comes like a desolation, okay? Because that's what's coming for these people, man. And the Lord's going to send His mighty angels, all right, to fight on our behalf, as we read in Zechariah, okay? When the time comes, it even says that in Daniel 12, all right? Let's end with that one, all right? Because the chip is going to be established. Jacob's trouble is going to be underway. World War III is going to be underway, all right? And then it's going to be so terrible out here that the Lord is going to have to, go ahead and make a move and stand up for His elect. Like it says in Revelation 12:12, the devil is going to come down with great wrath, which is going to invoke that Isaiah 59:19. The Lord's going to lift up the standard, and part of that standard is going to be these angels, man, these chariots, man. So Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Micah Allah stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, which are who? The Israelites, man. Which it really is talking about the remnant, but in the general sense, the Israelites are the children of the Lord's people, right? Because they are also known as the Israel of the Most High, which are the elect, right? So this is Michael standing up to fight for the elect of the nation of Israel, the 1/3, right? Beginning with the 144,000. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble, which is Jacob's trouble, Jeremiah 30:7, such as never was since there was a nation, right? Since the first, actually going all the way back to the time of Genesis, man, all right? Since there ever was a nation, all right? You talking about the Adamites and all these things, all right? So it's going all the way back to the beginning of creation. So there's never been a time like it on the timeline of this earth's history. Okay, and never will be afterwards. It says, as such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. What people? The remnant, because that's what the scriptures tell us. That's what the scriptures tell us who's going to be delivered, the remnant. It says, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And this is not an actual book. These are just those that are predestined to receive salvation, all right, from the Heavenly Father by way of Yahweh Shah. And then also you're going to have, when it comes down to these battles and other things, direction and assistance and things of that nature, all right, maybe even healing. The Lord's going to utilize his angels, right, on our behalf, right, Lord willing. So we're going to leave it at that, all right. Lord will, you edify to next thing, Yahshua. Going to say Shalom.